our final quote as we are moving through the team development stages, and we're now looking at how do we transition from norming to performing. How do we get that level of productivity optimal in our teams? And the crucial thing here is this. The key is shared leadership. And we have a quote for you. And the quote is from John Maxwell, who says, "If you want to do a few small things right, do them yourself. If you want to do great things and make a big impact, learn to delegate." Let's explore a little bit how that applies to shared leadership. Most teams get stuck in the norming stage. Probably about 50% of teams are stuck there, and only about 15% actually achieve the performing stage. And what is that about? Well, very often, for me, it's about a lack of engagement, a lack of delegation, a lack of shared ownership. So how do we stimulate shared ownership in this progression? How do we do that? Well, for one, we need our meetings to have participation and leadership from as many people as possible. There's so many roles in a meeting. You can have the person who sends out the agenda and handles the technology and all that kind of stuff. Make sure that anybody if it's a virtual meeting, people know how to get in, all that kind of thing. Somebody could be appointed to that kind of a role, a troubleshooting role. You can have a facilitator, somebody who takes us through the agenda. You can have a minute taker, somebody who takes notes of the decisions and the actions that we're committing to. You can have the overall leader. But then as you go through each topic, you can have different people present. And even better, if it's a big team, put them into subgroups to go and do work. And even breakout groups, if it's a virtual meeting, to go and do work, and then have a presenter come back. These are all examples of shared leadership, different roles. And when one person is doing all the roles, there are two negative consequences. The one is a lack of engagement. Why be engaged if you're doing all the work? I can just sit here, I can be a spectator. I'm not fighting the fight. I'm not on the ground because you've relegated me to a spectator role sitting in the stands, not an active role of fighting the fight in the arena. The second thing, of course, is that when the leader is trying to do all of those things, they can do none of them well. Because we all know that the brain does not multitask, that our IQ drops the more things we're trying to do simultaneously. It slows things down. And so we want to move from norming to performing, to move from suboptimal performance to optimal performance. We need to share leadership. We need to share engagement. We need to be hearing the ideas. We need to be involving people. We need productive conflict. And that is the key to making that move. We share leadership. We share the roles out. We're explicit about them. And we listen to each other, and we make sure that every time there's a disagreement, the net result of the disagreement is something that's good for the team to achieve its purpose. If you like this video, why not hit subscribe? That way you can regularly get conscious leadership updates in your YouTube feed.